Hello guys, welcome to Canon Vlogs. What to say, but there is a whole lot of crazy things is happening right now in Canada. There is a large group of people that includes international students and foreign workers are protesting against the government for their recently announced policies. So guys, today in this video, we'll try to find out or we'll try to understand what caused this rallies or this protest. And this protest is happening all over in Canada. And also, I will try to give my review, my opinion about the protest. Is it really this whatever the people are doing this protest is really viable? Do they really have their concern to raise against the government, right? So we will try to find out, we'll analyze this. I will give you my analysis, like what would be the better way to mitigate this problem. But before that, let's find out what are the new changes the government has made in their policies regarding to international students and foreign workers. The first announcement the government has made was about end of visitor to work permit, which is, let me explain to you. Before, there was a provision that you can come to Canada on a visitor visa or a tourist visa, and then you can apply for a job. And in case if any company agrees to give you a job offer and an LMIA, then LMIA is LIMIA, okay? And with that LIMIA, you can apply for a work permit. All right, and then your visitor visa status will change to a work visa. So that was a provision before, which is now cancelled by the government. The second announcement the government has made is about the international students, the foreign students who are studying in Canada under curriculum licensing agreement, right, in a private colleges. They are now no longer be eligible for post-graduation work permit. Let me explain. In Canada, generally, the international students who are studying in public colleges or universities, they are only allowed for the post-graduation work permit and PR, right? Eventually for the Canadian PR. But recently, the government has made this extra provision, which is called class system, where like this is just to onboard more international students. So right, so they gave permissions to the private college to offer public college curriculum. That's what's called in the curriculum licensing agreement. So the private college will teach the public colleges curriculums and courses, kind of a thing. So any foreign students, if they study in private college with curriculum license agreement, taking the public courses, they will be eligible for the post-graduation work permit. So it was there, which is now the government has closed. And the third announcement by the government on their policy is that intake cap, which is like now the government has decided now that in 1 year, how many students should be on board, how many students should be taken, right? So they make a one margin, one cap. Like when they reach that cap, that quantity, the quota, the immigration, the Canada will no longer hire, no longer onboard any international students. So how many, like what will be the quantity, what will be the number, like how many thousands, 100,000, 200,000, which is not yet known, but so whatever will be the quantity, those quantity will be divided to each provinces, and then each provinces will be allowed, like for example, the total quantity is let's say for example 100,000 students in a year. So out of 100,000 students, now 10 provinces it will be divided. So depends on the province requirement, kind of a thing. Maybe some all province may be given the equal quota, like a 10,000 each, right? 10,000 students, or maybe like the Toronto has a higher demand, they may give it a 20,000 right students in a year, and Alberta second is like also 20,000 in a year, and other provinces, maybe some provinces 5,000, some 7,000. In this way, the quantity will be divided, the cap will be divided to each provinces. So they made now this starting from September 1st, 2024, this new policy has started, intake cap on highly international student. And the fourth announcement they made is about cutting off temporary foreign workers, low wage category. And gradually they will reduce the amount of higher wage foreign workers also in the future. Not only that, they will also decrease the amount of peer application, right, annually. So how many the quota will be, what will be the cap is not yet known, but Justin Trudeau in his speech he mentioned that over the years they will also reduce the amount of permanent residents. And regarding the hiring of foreign workers, now the government has made a policy to the employers, to the company or business owners also. They have to meet certain requirements in order to hire foreign workers. And that is, let's say, for example, any company, if they want to hire foreign workers, first of all, they have to make sure the unemployment rate in his area. Let's say, for example, if the company is in Ladakh, so in that Ladakh area, what is the current unemployment rate? So the company has to make sure of that one. If the unemployment rate is below 6%, then only he can hire foreign workers from the foreign country. Okay, but if the unemployment rate is more than higher than 6%, he is no longer eligible to hire foreign workers from the foreign country, because there's a higher rate of unemployment in that area. That means he should hire first from that location, from that locality, from the neighborhood. Alright guys, those were the major changes on the policies which were recently announced by the government of Canada. Now let's find out and let's talk about what is the major or main cause of this protest, this rallies going on in Canada. And the main cause is students who are studying in Canada in a private college under the class system, who are now not eligible to apply for a PGWP, post-graduation work permit. So this is the main cause of all these protests, the rallies going on all over Canada. First of all, let me explain why international students, most of the international students, they choose private colleges over public colleges. Obviously because of the cheaper tuition fees. And another reason is that since there was a provision that even if you study in a private colleges under class system, right, they are eligible to enroll into a post-graduation work permit. So when they saw that like they can enroll in post-graduation work permit and then eventually they can apply for the permanent residence, so they thought it's a better idea, right? So why to pay more? So that's the reason. And in the private colleges also, they approach students in the same way, right? This is the whole technique or the tactic of hiring a foreign student. Do you know that in 2022, the government of Canada earned $2 billion only from the class system, from the students who came to Canada through class systems from the private colleges. Can you imagine? They made a whole lot of big money from these students. And now, when the students are here, they are not even completed their graduations. Government comes and announce that you are now no longer eligible to apply for the post-graduation work permit. What would happen to the students? They invested so much of money to come to Canada, right, for the study, even the private colleges, because they choose here. They saw their future, right? Even they will apply for post-graduation, so and so. Now the government announced that you are not eligible to apply for post-graduation work permit. That means you are totally shutting down their dream, right? Their future. Yeah, it's a devastation. So then what do we expect those students? This is quite obvious, for them to come down to the road, right? And protest against the government for this new policy. So guys, this is the main cause why all these international students are protesting against the government. And to some extent, I feel that, this is viable, this is to happen, right? We understand that in the last 2 or 3 years, there was a mass immigration happened. But because of whom? We understand that the government says that they have seen there's a loophole in the private colleges while hiring the students. But it was whose fault? But why the students are paid for all this kind of a rampage? When the government is planning to hire this many students or foreign workers each year, when they came up for these mass immigrations, they should have a pre-planned, like pre-planned management, how they're gonna accommodate this many people. Of course, there will be a need of jobs, there will be need of housing, there will be need of good infrastructure, and with the health, hospitals, health centers, everything will be affected. So without having proper management, without having all this infrastructure ready to accommodate this many people, they shouldn't, from the first hand, government shouldn't invite this many people, immigrants, to the country. That's the biggest mistake, biggest fault. You can see we Kenyan citizens, the taxpayers, we are suffering. Why? Because we are not getting a job. The Kenyan people, we are not getting a job because most of the jobs are being taken by the immigrants, by the international students. And it's not their fault too, because they came to Canada and obviously they also look for a job. So this is all happened. And here is my opinion, what the government should have done to mitigate this problem. First of all, they should identify its students, who are passing out in good grades kind of a thing. They should sort it out students, and then all those eligible students, they should be given all the opportunities, right, which was there at the time when they applied for the student visas. And all those students, who doesn't meet the institution's requirement, who doesn't pass their exams, right, and who are not attending the colleges, if their attendance is low, all the students should be identified, and yes, those students without any question should be sent back to home, right? And then the government should announce, or from the next intake, this is the new policy the government has announced. Whatever the government has announced should be from this time frame onward, there is the new policy, so that any foreign students who are about to apply to Canada, they will think, they will have a time, should I apply or not? So this is the new policy of Canada about the student. This is the new policy of Canada about the foreign workers, so that they will make a decision whether to come to or not. And then obviously all these problems, in the immigrant, whatever happened right now in the last 2 years, wouldn't happen next year. Obviously, the quantity of coming to Canada will massively reduced. So guys, this is my opinion. Thank you very much for your time and watching my video. I will see you in the next vlog. Until then, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.